What we're going to do is talk today a little bit about something that's on the mind of most sales managers, which is how you motivate your sales team to perform the activities you know are important for them to perform, get their psyches motivated, upbeat as they deal with customers. And a little bit about us further. So Hoopla is a sales motivation and communication platform that our customers use to take the data that's typically buried in back-end systems like CRM, Salesforce CRM, pull that data to life and create sort of a play-to-win culture within their company, displayed on 60-inch monitors all over the building. It looks like you're watching ESPN for your team. Their faces are highlighted. There's virtual sales guns going off, leaderboards, contests, goals, actions, and they can even have their own walk-up song. So it's like a real fun thing, mobile and video. So the first question we have to ask when it comes to motivation is who cares anyway? Aren't we just going to automate salespeople out of the equation altogether and just have robots selling to everybody? I think that's what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to automate this out. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't believe anybody here really thinks that's going to happen as well. In fact, even with all the innovation that we've been doing, according to Gallup, 85% of the brand image of a company is still impacted by that direct relationship between the salesperson and the customer. So it's really vital that we deal with the relationship and the behavioral aspects, the motivation aspects of that person when getting that rep to perform at their peak level. So a couple of just like anything with science and the learnings we've had over the years, it's a lot of old thinking that has to be sort of undone, right? And research around motivation and psychology has been happening for years. I think Freud had it sort of boiled down to motivation is driven by the avoidance of pain or the seeking of pleasure. Two basic things. That's how we're wired. Sort of like Pavlov's dogs or the sort of stimulus response. The way you train a horse, the way you train a dog, you can do that with people as well. And we've learned a great deal since then. That thinking has led to a very sort of carrot and stick mentality in companies and the way we reward and the way we sort of motivate our people, right? So we know, obviously there's a comp plan, but even when we talk about contests or ways to sort of motivate people, it's all about pay them more money and they will do more behaviors, right? And a lot of research has been done over the years. Daniel Pink had a great book a few years back called Drive, where he sort of debunked a lot of that, talking about that intrinsic motivation is much more powerful than extrinsic, etc., where people really are seeking for autonomy and mastery and purpose in their jobs. But what we've been also learning is a whole bunch of new things about the brain. Through the advent of sort of MRI technology, you can actually now pinpoint the part of the brain that's firing at any given point in a sort of research study. And they've discovered, as a result of that, the specific part of the brain where motivation actually occurs. And also the role of this chemical called dopamine, right? So they used to think that dopamine fired when someone sort of achieved something, or they got a reward, or something happened. What they're learning now, however, is that dopamine fires before something is achieved. It's actually the cause of motivation. So when someone is close to achieving a goal, or when they see the goal far off, dopamine starts to fire in the brain, and that's what motivates them to move forward. And in fact, go-getters have a higher level of dopamine in the part of the brain that's linked to motivation, where sort of the slackers have less dopamine, and it's more concentrated in those areas focused on risk and sort of emotional response. So what that means, and actually one of the studies they've done has to do with, so they took a bunch of rats, and rats with lowered levels of dopamine were unable to perform this experiment where all they had to do was jump over a little wall to get the cheese. they preferred to stay there and just sit and starve because they didn't have enough dopamine in their brain. So